This meeting to order at 5:59 p.m. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Speaking of the Pledge of Allegiance, I gotta give a shout out to the Buckfield High School band. They did a little Veterans Day thing yesterday morning, and it was really nice.
Where they do that?
At the high school.
At the high school? Oh, nice.
Yep, played a bunch of patriotic songs, and
cool.
it was, I thought it was really neat.
Very nice. Good deal. So we cannot approve the minutes for October 22nd because Joel was not here for that meeting, and Bill is not here for this meeting. He wasn't feeling well this evening. So we will approve those minutes at our next meeting. Warrant number 28, Joel and I just both went over and signed. Checks, $15,748, $15,781. Total expenses, $146,656.83. Receipts, 573 through 761. Total of the receipts was $311,903.13. Percentage of 2023 real estate taxes collected year to date is at 95, and 2024 real estate taxes collected at the time this was published was 14%. I believe that's up to 19, Diane said, currently. So, does anyone have anything for open session?
Yes.
My wife. Yes, ma'am?
The ladies volunteer, let's rephrase that, the Sumner Volunteer Fire Department's Ladies Auxiliary, woo!
Right, good job.
Yes, would like to know if we pay for an electrician and lights to go on the sign that we post information out by the road and have an outlet installed so that we can plug in a Christmas tree without running the extension cord and causing hazardous areas. If we pay for that as an auxiliary, if we would be allowed to do that. And secondly, community members have brought to our attention that the Buckfield Fire Department looks really festive with all of their Christmas lights on. So if the Ladies Auxiliary purchases lights for the fire department and they want to put them up, would we be allowed to do so?
I would make a motion that we allow Ladies Auxiliary to have electricity run out to the billboard sign and put up whatever Christmas decorations they would like.
I second it.
Office.
All in favor?
Done.
Thank you very much.
Ladies Auxiliary. Told you we were going to get that straightened around.
Beautiful. Love it.
So Kristen Chapman is at a school board meeting. Her report is as follows. Superintendent and board have been meeting weekly for the past months, trying to get remote learning for the middle school 5 through 8 grade students into buildings until the new school is built for the next school year. Mountain Valley Middle School is closed due to mold. Closed last month due to mold, and it's not expected to reopen, I assume, or heard.
That is correct. According to the industrial hygienist, they did a bunch of testing, found all kinds of mold of different varieties in different places because the mold has not been addressed for quite some time.
It's been years, right? My understanding.
And it reached what would be considered an average of above safe levels for most people. According to what he said at the meeting last week, different people have different levels of allergies to mold. Some people, it probably wouldn't even bother them. Other people may have extreme allergic reactions. So the consensus was that because it would take, for the way that they want to mitigate the mold, which I was told the way we do it on base is not proper.
Not proper.
It would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and take many months. So that pretty much rules the going back to the school out. And they've been looking at 2 different locations. One being the Mexico Police Department / Rec Center location. There's a lot of issues there, and the rumor through the teachers and principals grapevine is it's sounding like the Apostolic Church they were looking at may potentially be a no-go as well, so they're probably going to be back to the drawing board.
All right. Well, challenges, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So Doug has a new job, so he is not here on Tuesdays anymore. His report is all is well with the fire department. Equipment checks are up to date, and the budget is looking good.
All right. Since we're talking about the fire department, just quick note for the town's awareness is Jay Landry went through a grant writing course. So he's going to be working on applying for some grants for fire department related stuff, and you may talk to him if there's some things that you know of, and he may be willing to help us write out a potential grant request for things roads related as well.
That'd be good.
I skipped right over Jeffrey Kuhn from the planning board.
Sorry, planning board doesn't have much to report. We haven't met since before the last select
that's
board
right.
meeting. However, we've run into a bit of a snag. I reported at the last select board meeting that Fred Collins has had some difficulty getting a hold of the folks at the mobile home park to just touch base with them as far as inspecting their sewage hookups, water hookups, things of that nature, and to inquire on the rest of the building notifications for these new trailers that are coming in. And we haven't had much luck with getting them in. So I think what we're going to do is try to contact them ourselves and via the deputy secretary to invite them to the next planning board meeting to see if they show up. Outside of that, we're going to discuss with the CEO in greater detail what if that means we should send them a stop work order or something of that nature. If that's where we're at. They are advertising that these homes are ready for folks to move in November. Last I knew, I don't have Facebook, so I don't know if they're advertising for it, but there's a lot of steps that we've made them aware of. They had a representative show up to one of our meetings back in maybe February.
I think it was last fall.
It was quite some time ago, and we made them aware at the time of what needed to happen, and at that point it seemed like everything was well received and going in the right direction, but we don't have heard anything from them
was
since.
that actual, because I was at that meeting, was that an actual notification that they gave us there? And we gave them, there was 2 mobiles that they didn't have the VIN numbers for.
No, that was not the
That was
notification.
not a notification.
That was just a, hey, we're here, what do we got to do?
I couldn't remember, but
Yeah.
I do remember being at that meeting. So, okay. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Corson and the roads. I almost skipped right over you and went to ACO.
Yeah. The roads are going pretty good. We're beginning to wrap things up. We got 1.5 inch gravel, finished gravel coming tomorrow on the Gammon Road. And that should be pretty well done tomorrow, if not the next day. And I have Lucas equipment up on Bonnie Road, doing some ditching and getting that ready. I believe we're gonna get that, we're gonna grind that in May, April, May. And just want to let you know that the grader is broke down. It's back at the sand pile. I think we got a head gasket going in it, so Weldon's gonna put that in the garage this winter and fix that for me. And I guess that's about it.
Alright, so Sean, the grinding that Sean's talking about, you put that up to bid, or you just happened to catch him?
I called the guy.
Just happened to catch him and got a price on grinding all the tar for the full 3.2 miles, right?
On Bonnie Road,
On
yeah.
Bonnie Road. And
so they'll grind it, grade it, and roll it out.
right.
And
So it'll be about a 3-day project. So we're gonna have a roads committee meeting. We're gonna call a meeting in the next 4 weeks, and go over that. Just get any other input on it. There are some potential negatives, but I think the positives outweigh the negatives, in my opinion. It'd be easier to maintain. Well, if it still needs to be box cut and all the, if there's a bunch of rocks that need to be pulled out, I feel like it'd be easier to
still do it.
Yep,
and add gravel where we need to.
Yeah. I mean,
We'll let it go all summer long and see what it does, and
Yeah.
go from there.
yeah, I can't see the negatives outweighing it, but even if we have to box cut the whole road eventually, before we do it, before we're done. And what was Gammon Road? It was 22,000.
22 to do from where I
19.
ripped up out to 219.
Yeah.
Yep. Real good prices. Because they're going to be right in Buckfield, so they're giving us a real good discount.
Cool. Excellent. While we're on roads, one thing maybe we could discuss at some point, as you guys know, last meeting I was down in western North Carolina doing some disaster relief stuff, and it kind of struck me that one of the things that went well for certain parts of Spruce Pines is the fact that there were a couple of people that had kind of prepared for rainy days, so to speak, and when they had that disaster, they were able to leverage a lot of their resources that they had accumulated to at least make some roadways accessible to be able to get to elderly people and get them food and water and stuff like that. And I thought one of the things maybe we could just discuss one day is perhaps maybe having a little stockpile, maybe by the sand pile or somewhere, maybe some culverts, a stockpile of gravel, and just keeping the fuel tank topped off, so if we have another disaster like we had last year, or heaven forbid we have something worse one day, we'd be able to kind of spring into action and manage some things, or create access to a road that maybe we had someone who really needed, urgent aid. Just kind of.
Yeah, we discussed that while you were gone, actually. So that was basically, my thought was, we have more than enough equipment in town. We need to make sure we have fuel, so I'd asked Sean how much he thought the fuel tank is, if it's 500 or 1,000.
So I should get that filled then. I haven't been filling it, so.
I don't see why, and unless it's a 4,000 gallon tank, I don't see why I wouldn't
Yeah.
fill it. And but I would keep that full. So my thought was this, along the same lines as you, is having fuel. So if the town had whatever we
A major
Authorize-
power outage or.
yes whatever ice storm, or we have a Helene hit here, and we have. Honestly, I would like to see 2,000 or 3,000 gallons of diesel, but that'd be in a perfect world.
Eventually.
And probably,
Yeah.
50 gallons of gas and chainsaw oil to go with it.
Yeah.
And then my other thought was having 3 or 4 semi-mobile, solar generator and water pumps that would be strategic probably along 219, like. The West Sumner Church would be a good high and dry location. This office would be obviously a pretty good location to be. If Helene hits, that church down there is going to be underwater, so that
Right.
wouldn't be a very good
Right.
spot. But maybe someplace on Bonnie Road, or you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
strategic. So if we get road, we could at least get water to people. They didn't have it. So that was kind of some discussions that we had at the last meeting. What brought that up was Warren and the emergency management.
Emergency management.
Yeah, so that's how we ended up talking about that at the last meeting a little bit, but.
And I always have gravel, culverts, there's all kinds of stuff at the pit all the time.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, I wanted to try to sit down with Warren and, maybe all of us, I don't know.
Yeah,
That
maybe
would
we
have to be an executive session too, probably, but.
Kind of have an emergency management.
Yeah, just to get he wants to, I talked to him, when he came in and signed his appointment. He came over to the house after, and he wanted to learn what the feds were going to expect out of his position in the state, and then obviously we'd have our own ideas too. But it's also hunting season, so
Right.
Warren's in the woods. So yeah.
Cool.
How you doing back there, sir? You got a report for us?
Not yet.
All
I've
right.
been working on rebuilding it. Apologize for that. But I've been doing a lot of work with our animal welfare agent as well, and asked him a little bit about it, and he recommended some software. So I'm actually working on feeding everything into that software now. It'll automatically shoot out an email the first of every month, so I won't have to worry about it again, hopefully. And so that's the first two things on here. Other than that, it's been pretty quiet comparatively. I've been spending a lot of time at one location with some dogs that have been getting at large. I've issued 3 summons last month, all for dogs at large, and a notice to comply to improve the level of care for some animals. And I made one trip to the shelter for a cat. And there was an issue with some of the paperwork that I submitted to the DA's office on 2 of those summons. So I'm gonna have to go re-summons those people soon, which is kind of a pain. But I was contacted today by a Sumner resident about a dog that's been defecating on their property, and they asked if there was anything I could do about it. There is no state statute that addresses that. There's not one currently in the local ordinances, which I advised them. But I said that I would bring it up to see if there was any interest in adding something like that to the ordinance.
Man, that picture is pretty much like 3 feet from the edge of the road, wouldn't it?
What's that?
If I remember correctly, the picture I saw, the dog was pooping basically like 3 feet from the edge of the road.
Right, and the way a lot of surrounding towns have worded it is that any dog that, I don't know the wording on, but the waste is on public or private property must be removed or properly taken care of. So anytime your dog poops, you'd have to be bagging it unless it's on your property, and then you can let the poop pile up if you like it.
Sure. Right? So the dog was like leashed at the time, so you couldn't get a dog at large or anything on it?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Try to skip over anything since I've been bouncing around. So we got a couple of abatements we have to sign for forms, reports, and correspondence. one of these was the, this is the tree growth one, right?
The $18 one, I think. Oh, no, you're right, it's not, the personal property is the $18 one.
Interesting. Veterans Day shindig. It's good.
Cold over there?
It's still warming up.
Well, Joel signs those. Old business, just another update that the sentencing for the Stewarts has been postponed again. I don't know that Bill say that they said anything this time.
Nope.
So, I was told when I met with them, if I don't hear it from the DA's office, don't believe it. So I don't, the last email I got was just the one that stated how the whole thing, what they're likely to plead guilty to. So, well, sooner or later, they'll have their day in court. At some point. Whenever that is. So, yeah. Hopefully, we can get the petitions and all the letters that have been written somehow from the DA's office to the clerk, so the judge might see them prior to sentencing. I have a whole lot of faith in that system. So we'll see. To be determined, I guess. Upcoming events, dog licensing again, October 15th. All dogs 6 months and older must be licensed with proof of rabies. Presented at the time of licensing. Unaltered dogs fee is $11. Spayed or neutered dogs fee is $6. A mandatory late fee of $25. In addition to the standard licensing fee will be charged for each dog after January 31st, 2025. There are 3 openings on the Board of Appeals, and the Planning Board has 1 opening for an alternate. Speaking of the Stewart's case, and I was talking with Jeff the other day, so I just want to make sure everyone's aware, not that there's a lot of people here, but if you speak publicly at a meeting that is in session, what you say is a matter of public record, so it won't be deleted or removed from video or from the minutes or notes. We've had a couple of issues with that in the past. People asking if we could edit the video or take it out of the minutes. But when the meeting's in session, it is in fact public record. So if you're willing to speak it, just know that it's going to be out there in YouTube land and most likely on those notes, because Norma takes really good notes. So same thing with planning board, whatever's said in session. You're a representative of the town, and you're, so it's all a matter of public record. What you say when the meeting is adjourned is entirely up to you. First Amendment, do whatever you want to do. So with that being said, we're going into executive session, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So we have an executive session to discuss the sale of foreclosed property pursuant to 1 MRSA 4056C. So I make a motion that we go into executive session at 6:23 p.m.
I second that motion.
All in favor? I make a motion that we exit executive session at 6:53 p.m.
I second.
All in favor? And I make a motion that we also adjourn the select board meeting at 6:53 p.m.
I second that as well.
All in favor?
Okay.
Alright, that's a wrap.